My golden child brother laughed at me at Thanksgiving when I announced my business idea and called it embarrassing. 6 years later, he sent me his application letter. My brother Keith was the golden child. 4 years older, better grades, better job, better everything according to our parents. He went to a good university, got a degree in finance, and landed a position at a big investment firm right out of school. He wore expensive suits, drove a nice car, and never let anyone forget how successful he was. I took a different path. I went to community college, studied graphic design, and worked freelance for years. I made decent money, but nothing impressive. Keith loved to remind me of the gap between us. Every holiday, every family dinner, he'd find a way to mention his bonus, his promotion, his new watch. He'd ask about my work in this pitying voice, like I was a child showing him a finger painting. When I was 28, I had an idea. I'd been doing freelance design for small businesses, and I noticed most of them struggled with their online presence. They needed websites, logos, social media content, but they couldn't afford to hire separate people for each thing. I thought I could build a company that offered all of it in one package. I spent 6 months planning. I saved every dollar I could. I talked to potential clients. I built a business plan. When I finally felt ready, I made the mistake of telling my family at Thanksgiving. Keith laughed before I even finished explaining. He said the market was saturated. He said I'd burn through my savings and come crawling back to freelance work within a year. Then he looked at our parents and said it was embarrassing that I was even considering this. Our parents didn't defend me. Our mom said maybe Keith had a point. Our dad said I should think carefully before throwing away my stability. Keith smiled the whole time. That smug, superior smile he'd been giving me my whole life. I didn't argue with him. I just finished my dinner and went home. The next week I filed the paperwork and officially started my company. I called it Bridge Creative. The first year was brutal. Keith was right about one thing. I had no business experience. I made mistakes constantly. I underpriced projects, overpromised on timelines, and nearly burned out trying to do everything myself. There were months I couldn't pay myself. I lived on rice and eggs and hope, but I kept going. I learned from every mistake. I raised my prices. I got better at managing my time. I found clients who valued quality and referred me to others. By the end of year 1, I was still standing. Barely, but standing. Keith asked about my little project at Christmas that year. His tone made it clear he expected me to admit failure. I told him business was growing. He said that was cute and changed the subject. Year 2 was better. I hired my first employee, a designer I'd worked with on freelance projects. We split the workload and took on bigger clients. Revenue doubled. I moved out of my apartment and into a small office space. Year 3 was when everything changed. I landed a contract with a regional restaurant chain that needed a complete rebrand. That project led to 3 more. Word spread. Suddenly I wasn't chasing clients anymore. They were coming to me. By year 4, I had 12 employees and a real office downtown. We'd won a few local business awards. A trade magazine did a profile on us. I was making more money than I ever had in my life. I stopped going to family dinners. Not because I was too busy, though I was. Because I was tired of Keith's comments and my parents' indifference. I sent gifts on holidays and called on birthdays. That was enough. I heard updates about Keith through our mom. His firm went through layoffs. He survived the first round, then the second, then the third round caught him. He'd been there 15 years, and suddenly he was unemployed. He spent a few months looking for something equivalent. Finance jobs were scarce. His salary expectations didn't match the market. His age didn't help. He took a consulting gig that paid half what he used to make. That dried up after 8 months. Last I heard, he was doing some kind of independent financial advising from home, which meant he was unemployed and pretending he wasn't. I felt bad for him, honestly. Losing a career you built your identity around is brutal. I thought about reaching out, but I didn't know what I'd say. Then 3 weeks ago, my HR manager came to me with a stack of applications. We were hiring for an account coordinator position. Entry level, client-facing, decent salary with room to grow. She said one of the applicants had an unusual background. Finance guy, overqualified on paper, but no relevant experience in our industry. She showed me the resume. Keith. My brother had applied for a job at my company. He used his real name. He listed his finance experience. He wrote a cover letter about wanting to transition into a more creative field. He mentioned being passionate about helping small businesses. He didn't mention that the founder of the company was his younger brother. I told my HR manager I'd handle this one personally. I called Keith that afternoon. He sounded surprised to hear from me. I asked him about the application. He got quiet for a moment, then laughed. Full story on channel, link below.